So, if you have a vehicle with negative equity or a difficult car loan of any type, maybe your payments are too high, maybe what you owe on the vehicle is too much, maybe you can't trade it in because the value is so much less than what you owe, you probably have been looking for a solution to be able to get out from underneath that difficult car loan. So, how do you do it? Well, there's a process that you can go through called a car short sale. And a car short sale is taking the gap between the value of your vehicle and the loan amount and reducing it, shrinking it down to a smaller number. And there's 5 or 6 steps you go through to shrink that number down. And then there's a process for capitalizing that difference to get that car loan out from your name. So first of all, what is negative equity? This is when the amount you owe on a loan is more than what the thing is worth. It could be a car, it could be real estate, it could be anything. So when the balance you have on a car loan is much more than the market value of the vehicle, then you are upside down in that car or buried in the car or underwater in the car. Sometimes people will say you have a firm grip on that car because you can't let go of it because your loan is keeping you tied to that vehicle. How does this happen? Well, a lot of things happen when you buy a vehicle. First of all, when you purchase a vehicle, especially a new car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, the value goes down. And it should, because now it's not a new car anymore. A new car is worth a lot more than a used car. In addition, even if you buy a used car, there's going to be some profit that dealer made on that vehicle. That profit is no longer part of the vehicle value because they already earned it. The next thing that happens is when you make your initial loan payments on a vehicle for the first year or two, most of those payments are just going to interest. They're actually not knocking down the loan balance. They're going mostly to interest. So your car is going down, but your loan balance is staying the same. That's negative equity. You may also have had negative equity from your trade-in vehicle that was rolled into the new vehicle. For example, if you had a car that you traded in when you bought your current vehicle, that you owed $4,000 more than it's worth, well, that $4,000 was tacked onto your new loan, and that instantly becomes even more negative equity. And then sometimes there's conditions in the used car market that can create negative equity to pile up even quicker. So what do? Well, here are the steps to go through a car short sale. First, start with gathering information. You want to get a copy of your loan agreement. You probably have that in your files. It might even be in your vehicle. It might be sitting in your glove compartment. You want to get that copy. There's information on there you need for the car short sale. Now, also remember, as we're describing this, our website, carshortsale.com, will have a full description of this. And also we have services if you want assistance with any of these steps. So once you get a copy of your loan agreement, set that aside. You also want to contact your lien holder, the bank that you're making payments to, and get a loan payoff quote. They're going to tell you the exact balance of that loan to the penny. Also get a per diem amount. Per diem means how much does it change every day. Per diem means every day. So if your loan balance is $30,260, it'll tell you it changes this much per day. So that's a number you want to have. Also find out the interest rate on your loan. It'll be on your loan agreement or the lender can give it to you. Obviously you need the name of the lender, but it's important to make sure you get the actual name. Sometimes the name that you think it is might be slightly different. There might be a different corporate name or a management company or a facilitation company that's actually on the surface, but the lender's a different name. And then you want to get your current financial information, your assets, your income, and your employment. So what we mean by that is your assets are how much money you have in the bank. You want to know how much money you have in the bank. What is your current income? How much do you make per week, per month? And then who is your current employer? You want to get that put together. So once you have all those things done, next you're going to request records from outside of your control. First, you want to do a DMV title records request. You're going to file a request to the DMV to have them give you a printout of your current title record, which will show you as the owner, the name of the lien holder, what the lien status is. It'll give you all those pieces of information. You need to have that. There are many times records at the DMV that will help you with your car short sale process. Sometimes it'll make it a whole lot easier. Next, you want to send a request to the selling dealer where you bought your car to get some information. You want to find out a breakdown of your purchase and sale agreement. You also want to check about add-ons. There were many times when you got your car loan, things that were added onto the loan, such as maintenance agreements, service contracts, gap insurance, security interests. There's usually add-ons that are part of your loan that you want to know about. The dealer will have full records on all that. You want your entire file provided to you. You also want to get corporate records for the lien holder and the dealer. You want to find out the name of their corporation, their address, and what's called a registered agent. Every corporation that's filed with the Secretary of State has what's called a registered agent. That's the official contact person for that company. You need to get that name. Then you're going to do a civil records request. You're going to request any civil records for both of those corporations from the county civil records division, and that'll be important later. We'll talk on those. And then you're going to get cancellation forms for the add-ons. Once you get the breakdown of the add-ons from the selling dealer, you're going to get cancellation forms for how to cancel those add-ons. Those add-ons can many times accumulate up to several $1,000s worth of extra charges on your loan that you can cancel and reduce your loan balance very, very quickly. So you want to get the forms from the selling dealer or from the company that provided that extra service, whether it's a maintenance agreement, service contract, extended warranty, alarm system, security system. Lots of things have add-ons. And then you are going to send a lien release request to the lien holder. Very simple. It's a request for them just to clear the lien. They may not do it, but you want to put that request in for a lien release along with a letter of non-interest. So that's your records inquiry step, which is step 2. Now here's where you start reducing the loan balance. First of all, you're going to send those cancellation requests for the loan add-ons, extended warranty, service contract, maintenance agreement, all the different types of add-ons that could go onto your loan. You're going to cancel all of them. Now remember, when you cancel them, you no longer have that benefit. So if you have an extended warranty, if you cancel it, you no longer have that warranty. If you have a service contract, you cancel it, now you'd have to pay for your oil change, whatever that is. So make sure that you're doing this at the time you're intending to get rid of that vehicle or understand what benefits you're going to be losing. And you're going to request from the dealer that they remove any other fees that are removable. Many times dealers have added fees to their contract, things like addendums, additional dealer markups, maybe a documentation fee or doc fees. And if they were not allowable under Federal Trade Commission requirements, you can ask the dealer to remove. You will be back in your video in just a few seconds. In the meantime, remember that actualhuman.com offers you live one-on-one private video consultation with an expert in this exact subject. We want to listen to your story. We want to hear your questions. We want to give you expert advisement of your options and tell you what we know about your particular situation. Now back to your video. Those fees from your loan amount. Now, while you're at it, you're also going to want to ask the dealer to see about contributing any of their rate reserves. What does that mean? When they originally did your auto loan, they participated in the dealer or the lender interest rate profit. So whatever the interest rate was on your car loan, part of that money went to the dealer as far as an F&I profit. So you're going to ask the dealer if they're willing to contribute any of that back to your loan. They probably won't. They'll probably say no, but that's okay. At least you're establishing that request, and this may help out later on with some of the other steps. Then you're also going to ask the lender to contribute towards the principal. You're going to ask them that you're looking to get out of negative equity in lieu of doing a non-performing loan. So you want them to see if they can contribute anything. Many lenders have programs to assist borrowers to reduce their principal. If you are also reducing the principal, they can also contribute towards that. So you want to ask them about those programs, those car short sale programs. And the second to last step is you're going to adjust the vehicle value. So you may have received a trade-in quote from a dealer. They may have said, hey, we'll give you $20,000 for this car. And dealers normally go on what's called wholesale value. So what you want to do is get up to a resale value. Resale value is not wholesale. It's not retail. It's not the full retail that it will sell for to a retail customer, but it's a resale quote. You might have to make some small repairs that have an ROI, meaning return on investment. You don't want to spend $500 on something that's only going to make the car worth $200 more. But if there's something you can spend $100 on that'll add $500 to the value, such as a reconditioning or shampooing the carpets or some other type of minor recon process, you want to do that. And then you're going to obtain resale quotes. Where are you going to get those? There's online networks. There are certain brokers and bidders that will give you resale quotes instead of wholesale quotes. You also want to check with the selling dealer that sold you the vehicle to see if they're willing to put a bid. Remember, they had that vehicle in their inventory at one time. They made a profit on it. They may be interested in having it back. In addition, they may also work with you on giving you a higher value rather than doing that car short sale. Because when you do a car short sale, that dealer's going to lose some money. So even if it's 2 years after you bought it, that dealer's going to lose some money on cancellations and on chargebacks. So you want to make sure that you give that selling dealer where you bought your car a chance to give you an offer for the vehicle, and they may find a way to work with you. You want to get all these bids documented. You don't want to get it verbally. You don't want to get a promise over the phone. You want to get it in writing. And then last, this is probably not as common, but you want to look to see if there are any retail buyers that you could find. Maybe it's a friend of yours, a relative that's looking for that type of vehicle that would want to buy your car. That would even be higher, but that's just a bonus if you have that available. Now that you have the loan amount reduced and the value of the vehicle increased, hopefully you have your gap in between the two down to a smaller amount. You want to calculate that remaining negative equity, if any. Maybe you have raised the value of the vehicle up enough to where it's equal to the loan balance and you can walk away from the vehicle. If there is still remaining negative equity, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, whatever it is, determine what that amount is, and then figure how much cash do you have to contribute towards it. Let's say the remaining negative equity is $2,500. Maybe you have $500 cash that you could put towards it. Great. That leaves you $2,000. Now you're going to request that the lender who you're making payments to, your car loan company, allows you to do a time allocation of that money. They allow you to sell the vehicle, car short sale, and then that remaining $2,000, maybe you pay $100 a month for a couple years. It's better than paying $800 or $900 for the car payment, right? They may be able to allow that. Some car loan companies are not allowed to do unsecured financing. Some are, so you want to ask them. If they're not allowed to do it or if they refuse to do it, now you're going to look at third-party unsecured money sourcing. So maybe you find an unsecured lender, and our website will give you some options for that, where you could borrow the $2,000 for a couple years, lower payments. Maybe you have a relative that can lend you the money for a couple years. Make sure you pay it back. But you're going to look at that third-party unsecured sourcing. When you talk to your lender, you also want to ask them, are they willing to waive it? So let's say if you have a remaining balance of $2,000, if you go to your lender and say, look, the original negative equity was $10,000. I owe $30,000. The vehicle is worth $20,000. I got that down to $2,000. Would you be willing to waive that in lieu of a repo, in lieu of a delinquent loan? Many times the lender, if they're looking at repossessing a vehicle, they might be losing more than $2,000 if they have to repo it or if they have a charge-off. So they might be willing to waive some or part of that. Whatever you get from any of these responses, always get this in writing. Get full clearances and title transfers. Don't leave it to chance that when you do this short sale that you're still on the hook for money that you weren't aware of. Make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Remember, we're not attorneys. We're not giving you legal advice. Some of these things are subject you may want to get legal suggestions about from an attorney, but that'll be something that you can work on. Do's and don'ts. If you're doing a car short sale, don't voluntarily repo the vehicle. Don't give the vehicle back to the lender without going through this. Because if you give it back to the lender, they're just going to sell it for wholesale. They're going to charge you the whole amount at loan balance for retail, and they're going to come after you for the difference. And they'll probably even sell it for less than wholesale because they have auction fees. Do maintain your payments throughout the process if you can. If you've already stopped making payments, that's a gray area. You may want to start them back up or give partial payments. That's something that's beyond the scope of this conversation. But if you're still making payments, continue to make them. The process normally doesn't take that long, maybe a month or two. So maybe have a couple more payments to make before you determine how you're going to proceed with that vehicle. Also, don't misrepresent your finances to the lender. Remember back in step 1, we talked about getting your current financial information. That's going to go to the lender to make their determination about your car short sale. Don't mislead them. Don't lie to them about your finances. When is this not going to work? It's very important to know this. If you purchase your vehicle within the last 11 months, you're not going to do a car short sale. The lender's not going to be able to do it. The numbers won't work. If you have sufficient assets to pay the negative equity, for example, if your negative equity is $10,000, but you have $200,000 in the bank, don't try to do it. It's not going to work out. If your income is more than $96,000 annually, a car short sale probably won't go too far. You can try, but it may not be as applicable. In addition, if you have a vehicle that the value is close to your loan value, within a couple thousand, 2,000 or 3,000, it's probably not worth going through this whole process for a car short sale. You're probably just better off eating the difference and just paying it. So those are some basic tenets about a car short sale. It gives you some instructions on how to do it. Our website, carshortsale.com, will describe it in more detail. We have consultation services available. We have documentation service if you want to have us do some of these steps for you. Or even if you want to find out how to do each one of these steps specifically, you can look on our website and find out how to get in contact with a certified title agent to give you more details. But hopefully this will give you an overview of how a car short sale works and introduction to the process as a do-it-yourselfer, as instructions. Again, we're a free consumer resource for customers with car loans to learn how to do this process. And if you ever want to proceed, there's resources we have available that might make it easier for you. Thank you for watching another video at actualhuman.com and describe.tv. Remember, if you have questions or comments about our videos, put them in the link below. Also, remember that you have availability and access to live one-on-one question and answer consultation with a licensed expert in a number of fields: investigations, insurance, surety bonds, civil court mediation, even things like real estate records research, real estate brokers, real estate mortgage lenders. In addition, you're going to find that experts are available in business segments, business development, marketing, advertising, certified licensed experts. So if you do find this content valuable and you want to delve more deeply into a subject, you can't ask YouTube a question, right? But if you want to talk to somebody live, an actual human, use the link below. Thanks for watching.